You know what? There was something big about the historical context of our town. Of all rooms in the city, guys, we're gonna get going. Okay, sorry. Good evening. I'd like to call to order the March 6th regular Planning Commission meeting. It is now 5:59. We're a little early tonight, sorry. But with that, I would like to ask for a pledge of allegiance, and Commissioner Tolkien, if you would lead us in the pledge of allegiance, I'd appreciate it.
Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Fresco?
Here.
Commissioner Hamilton?
Here.
Commissioner Lambert?
Here.
Commissioner Tolkien? And Chair Reese.
Present. Thank you very much. If we could get moving on. Okay, after this, we have the election of officers. Yes, it is very exciting.
Wow.
Now, it has been expressed to me by one of our fellow commissioners that we should wait until we have more bodies here.
Yeah.
It's always so controversial.
Yes, and so I'm going to leave it to you folks, because obviously there's a little bit of self-servingness in me putting this motion forward to continue.
Well, I mean, Ellis isn't here, so it would be good to have him here, don't you think?
I move to continue this item.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay. So we're going to continue that until we have a full commission. Okay. Yeah, okay, sorry.
Aye.
All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Any abstentions? Okay, now we're going to continue that. Planning Director's report.
Good evening, Commission. So your next meeting would have been March 20th, but that's been canceled. So the follow-up meeting will be, I guess, first meeting in April?
Yeah.
Yep. But we'll give you more information about that. Some CDD updates. So our pro-housing designation was received in January. And very
Congratulations.
exciting news. Congratulations to all of you and, of course, to the planning staff and housing element team, as we call them. We'd like to point out, as you can see from the chart, that Santa Monica got the most points out of any city in the state. So you can see 75. The next highest was Sacramento at 64. So these are all the cities in the state that have been designated pro-housing.
Boy, we're good.
So you all are really good. So, so yeah, really great news for the city. And then quickly, following the designation, we applied for our pro-housing grant. So we'll keep you posted on that. Adult use cannabis grant awarded to conduct the equity study. So on that, we're going to council next, actually it's probably later on the slide, so I'll mention it then. And then the last update, Civic Auditorium letters of interest are being reviewed. So as I said to Commissioner Fresco, we've narrowed it down to 2 that we're continuing to talk to. Housing Element Phase 2 implementation engagement opportunities. So the Bergamot Objective Design Standard Project. So February 28th, there was a community update. March 21st and April 18th are dates for the technical working groups. April 15th, the ARB study session. And then May 15th, Planning Commission study session, followed by June 11th, City Council study session. So that's the schedule for that project. Adaptive Reuse Ordinance, March 28th kickoff community meeting. Recent City Council actions, City Manager's report on AB 1287. So that was to help explain to the community what it means. Obviously, we've been getting a lot of questions about it, so Jing did a great job of summarizing and letting the council know exactly what's included. Extension of SB 35 Objective Design Standards. That was also at the February 13th meeting. February 27th, City Council authorized staff to apply for the pro-housing grant that I mentioned. And then upcoming on the March 19th meeting, authorization to accept grant for the adult use cannabis equity study, and then also the study session on adult use social equity and kind of the overall program. So later, a few months down the road, we'll go back to council with an ordinance, but this is just to get their direction, again, mainly on the equity study, but also on some of the other parameters of the adult use ordinance. So that concludes my report. Happy to answer any questions.
I have a quick question. What's the grant that you applied for? What is that for?
The pro-housing grant?
Housing grant?
Yeah, you explain.
It's actually, so we're eligible for up to $1 million, sort of, because we'd be eligible for 500,000, and because we got extra enhancement points, we got eligibility for an extra 500,000. And that would, we're requesting for emergency rental assistance. So it has to fit within like, number of categories, one of which is to assist persons at risk of experiencing homelessness. So in working with our partners in Housing and Human Services, you know, we have a lot of, I wouldn't say, I mean, there's always a need everywhere, but like that's an area where it's like traditionally hard to get money, and the city doesn't really have a lot of funding just because so much goes towards persons experiencing homelessness. We certainly fund the construction of housing, and that's the piece. It's like, how do we help people to prevent them from falling into homelessness to begin with? So,
Great.
yeah, so the application's been submitted. I think we should hear back. I believe it's March now. I think it's in May. I believe we're supposed to hear back whether we've been successful or not.
Well, I wish us luck.
Yeah.
And again, congratulations to everybody in the city on that housing designation.
Yeah.
Well, I'd imagine some people aren't all that excited about it, but it is impressive. Right. Rather have it. Okay, we're now moving on the agenda, unless there's any other questions of the director, to the planning commissioner announcements. Are there any announcements?
I just have one, but I'll remind Sheila that I will not be here in May. But I will be back.
As long as she's saying that, I will not be here on May 15th either.
You're celebrating my anniversary. I appreciate that.
I'm celebrating my son's graduation from college.
Oh, okay, well, that's exciting too. And while we're on May, I'm out the first week of May. The first meeting of May. And I will miss the second week of July.
Celebrating my birthday.
As a matter of fact. Okay,
I'm also going to be out May 1st as well.
okay,
Is that a meeting day?
I'm not even sure if we're going to have a meeting on that date,
yeah,
but
it is a meeting date. So
it is a meeting date. Yeah, May 1st. Yeah.
And I won't be here either.
Okay.
Wow.
Well, that reshuffles the deck a little bit. Okay, well, that's why it's actually pretty good for us to bring up when we get our vacations set, so the planning staff has the opportunity to plan ahead. All right, I'm going to keep moving on. Public input. I do not believe we have any public input tonight. Consent calendar items. 7A is on our calendar. Does anybody want to pull any items?
If we don't pull it, do I have to recuse myself? If we do pull it, I definitely do, but if we don't, do I?
Just out of safety, go ahead and recuse yourself.
I think if you need to recuse yourself from the item, you just need to recuse yourself from the vote, yeah.
From the consent also?
Yes, yes.
Okay. Do you want me to leave the room?
Yeah, can you state your conflict, actually?
This is a project that I worked with the applicant on his design for historic preservation goals.
Thank you very much. Okay, Commission, we have a consent calendar item in front of us, and this is simply establishing a date of April 17th for this appeal hearing. So can we get a motion on the consent
I
calendar?
move to approve the consent calendar.
Second?
Second.
We have a first and a second. If we can get a vote, please.
Sure, Commissioner Fresco had to recuse. Commissioner Hamilton?
Yes.
Commissioner Lambert?
Yes.
Commissioner Tolkien?
Yes.
and Chair Reese.
Yes. Now we need to get Commissioner Fresco back in before we move on to 11A. Thank you, Ross. Moving on the agenda, we have nothing under 8, 9, 10, and we get to 11, 11A. We have a recommendation to the city council to amend the text of the city's zoning ordinance for consistency with the recent amendments of the state density bonus law, AB 2087, I'm sorry, 1287. And Commissioner Lambert.
I just want to say something before we begin. I read through this and was surprised about the off-site option being eliminated, basically. And I have since heard from people in the community who want to speak on this. And I really would prefer a full commission to be here to work on this. So I would move that we continue it. Sorry. I mean, I can't vote for it the way it is, so I think it behooves people.
Well, I mean, I would like, I think that if we should be doing the robust hearings on this type of stuff. So for that reason, I'm willing to entertain it, but I would like to maybe open the hearing item so we can hear from staff on what their concerns about a continuance are, and then maybe get some opinions from our fellow commissioners.
So should my motion just go away?
The only thing I do want to make clear that the planning manager can give more detail on. So there is no deadline for the city to adopt this because AB 1287 became effective January 1, 2024. So the city is required to implement it regardless.
Right.
Just want to make that clear.
I understand. I understand.
There is no deadline to incorporate it into our ordinance. It's not like we're up against some sort of new time frame, but because
Right.
Staff is
understand.
bringing this forward to ensure that it does get integrated as early as possible. However, it does not change the city's obligation to implement AB
I
1287.
understand.
Yeah, I mean, the purpose, do you want me to give the staff?
You need to speak up too.
Oh, I was like, do you want me to give the staff report or?
Well,
just
I don't
sort
know
of
that
speak to-
until I get a read on the commission where they're at with this, I don't know that it's worth going into the staff report just yet. So,
Well, unless you have some specific questions, do you want to
Well,
ask those
my
first?
major issues, I know at least one member of the public who represents a nonprofit organization in the community, he really wants to speak on this. And she didn't know about it until this afternoon when I contacted her, and I think she should have the ability to come to the meeting and talk about it. And it's really our job, not the city council's, to hear that. I also would like to have have Alice and Sean here. I've talked to Sean, he would like to be involved, and obviously he's not here. So I mean, just from the standpoint of doing this with a full commission and hearing more public input, obviously we have no public here now, I think is a basis for continuing it.
okay. You've heard her concern. Anybody else? Can we get a second on the motion so we can discuss it?
I'll second that motion.
Okay. Is there any discussion on this item?
You want me to explain or not?
I thought you did, but if you have more to say, go right ahead.
Well, I mean, I have my own concerns about this, which I related to staff and gotten back and forth, which are some of the concerns in the community as well. I'm not sure it makes sense for me to go into it tonight if we're going to continue it. But in the form it is right now, I have a real problem with it. So I want to have more time to think about it, more time to talk to staff, more time to talk to the community, and get it before a full commission.
I think that if we can make it the way we implement it even better than just the basic state version, we should try. That's my view.
Does it make sense to adopt this resolution, because this is state law, and then come back and see, can the city do a secondary?
No.
Okay.
And the reason I would agree with Commissioner Lambert on that, just because we can't control staff. I mean, staff, if.
I understand.
No, I'm talking to Commissioner Hamilton about this. I think
Oh.
if staff is comfortable with this language, trying to get a change to it later on, we're going to have a tougher time.
Makes sense.
And I guess my opinion on this is we can't always wait for full commission because we can't guarantee that all the time. So I don't think that is the deciding factor, but the factor of more community input is important to me. And if one of the nonprofits in the community has concerns about it, I want to hear about it before I make a recommendation to the city. or to the council, I mean, this is also, it's a little frustrating because it is a public, it was a noticed hearing, so if they were really interested in it, they should have been paying attention. But anyways, it's our job to hear from the community, so I would support you on the continuance. Do you have comments on this?
I was going to pass on this because, I'm sorry. I'm missing some of your comments.
Okay,
Are we going to postpone?
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I'm in agreement with that.
Okay, cool.
It's sometimes, Jim, hard for me to hear what, I don't know whether these are plugs sometimes or something.
You can borrow mine.
Okay, I'm referred to as decibel man, so most people hear me, but I will try to speak up a little louder. All right, we have a first and a second in front of us and a sense of where the commission's heading, so I think we need a quick roll call vote and wait. I think staff has one more comment.
I was just going to ask the question that, did you want to continue this to a date certain? Or
Can we reestablish the March 20th meeting?
Yeah, like we actually we just don't have items on it right now, so that's why we were going to cancel. We haven't officially done that yet. So if you wanted to, continue it to March 20th.
That'd be great.
And Sheila, I believe nobody has said they're not, everyone's supposed to be there, yeah. We believe we have a full commission
Cool.
that day unless, yeah.
And that'll give the public time to adjust.
Right,
themselves.
yeah, and, because you're continuing to a date certain, we don't have to renotice
Right.
the hearing. We often just do a courtesy, so we'll likely do that just to,
Okay, I
sure
think that
people know.
works.
okay.
I think you make a good point, and I think we should continue, yeah.
Thank you.
And the date certain makes sense, because it makes it a little more streamlined for you folks. Okay, so now we're going to make a friendly amendment to the continuance until March 20th? And then that's okay with the seconder and the first, and we can move forward to a vote, please?
So that was Commissioner Lambert and Fresco, is that right?
Yes.
Okay. Commissioner Fresco,
Yes.
Commissioner Hamilton,
Yes.
Commissioner Lambert,
Yes.
Commissioner Tolkien,
Yes.
and Chair Reese.
Yes. Okay, moving right along on the agenda. Nothing under 12. We have 2 written communications from 2 of our planning commissioners. I urge you both to review them. And then we have 14. Is there any planning commissioner discussion items that would like to be raised?
Does anyone have an appetite for revisiting the moderate income overlay zone?
Yes.
Just revisit, just seeing if we can make it work, basically. Because I frankly have always thought that the model isn't feasible. And I'd be more than happy to be proved wrong. But I really think that we need to look at it again.
Okay.
Okay, so staff heard that that's an agenda item we would like to take up at some point. With that, I'm going to move to item number 15, which is adjournment, and it is 6:18. I'm hearing
Well, did we skip 14A,
14A.
which was select commissioners to participate in the forthcoming working groups on housing element phase 2 implementation?
we did miss 14A. So I'm going to take back that almost adjournment at 6:18.
I'll do it if no one,
We have participate in forthcoming technical working group for housing element 2, Bergamot, and adaptive reuse. I'm going to throw my hat into adaptive reuse. I've spent a lot of time working in the city of LA's adaptive reuse, citywide
That's a good
adaptive
idea.
reuse that's coming out. So I'm happy to join there.
is this one group with all these issues?
They're actually two separate topics. So we could certainly have, I think, up to 3 commissioners, join in these technical working groups. The objective design standards one, I think you saw in the director's report, the dates are set, and they're coming up really in the next month or so. Happy to show that slide again if it's helpful. And then for the adaptive reuse, we're sort of just starting that process. So we have a community meeting coming up March 28th, and there'll be, likely a working group. We don't have that sort of schedule all set up yet, but it's like 2 separate topics.
Okay, so we need 3 for each, so let's start with, the-
Up to
Can
3,
you
you don't
post the
have to have
dates?
3.
Is it okay to post the dates one more time of those
Sure.
meetings?
Can you go back to the director's report, Sheila?
and while they're doing that, I'll say, and we have 2 missing commissioners, so if, you know, they might want to join something as well. So if you're sitting on the fence whether you want to be on this, you know,
You could also postpone this discussion to the 20th as well, if you'd like the full commission.
we got to do
It's up to
something. We gotta do something tonight. I mean, it's up to the commission. I think we can move forward with this, but I'm,
It used to be adaptive reuse.
Well, I guess it's later, because there's so many dates in there that I can't do already. But March 20th.
I can do all the dates, so I'll do one.
okay, so looking at this and the Bergamot area plan, I'm hearing Commissioner Lambert is agreeing to that. Any other volunteers for the Bergamot? Commissioner Hamilton?
I'm here. I'm in town. I can do that.
Okay. So I'm gonna say those are the 2, because I think Nina's struggling with her calendar a little bit.
Yeah.
Sir, do you have any interest in?
I'm interested.
Which, okay, so then, that's 3 people on the Bergamot. You can be on the Bergamot? You're interested, we're looking for Bergamot area plan volunteers right now. So you're gonna be our 3rd person there. Okay, great.
And that, sorry, these are in the evening?
They are actually during the daytime.
It's okay.
Okay. What time?
Good question. Let me look up right now.
Daytime.
What's the first one? First. Probably gonna be like 11 to 1, so like midday.
Okay.
We do it midday because it tends to be working professionals, community members. We found during the housing element, the daytime seemed to work better for people, for these working groups.
Is it Zoom, James?
It's, I think we'll do, it is virtual, yeah.
Oh, okay, well, that makes it a lot easier. Okay, so anybody want to rethink their agreement on that at this point? Now they know it's daytime?
Yeah, the daytime is a lot harder for me on the March 21st.
I should check. Well,
Can we email you about this separately, or do we need to make a decision in this meeting?
I mean, I think if you select yourself in and you can't make it, that's okay, it's,
Okay.
right, you make what you can.
Okay. Okay. Then I will join the Bergamot plan, and I'll make best efforts to attend.
great, thank you. So, Commissioner Tolkien, you were committing to certain dates up here for this,
Right.
okay? So you might want to note those.
And we will send out,
You gonna email us or something?
Yeah.
yeah, because we have, I mean, these meetings are really open to anybody who, wants to join in, so there's not like a targeted list or what have you. It's just, if people are interested, they're more than welcome to join the working groups. They're completely open meetings. But since we know, we'll be happy to send you the Teams link, just so you have it on your calendar as well.
And also, just to be clear, why we're limiting it to 3 is to avoid a Brown Act issue, right? Just to be clear. So if you have questions about whether or not you can attend, just please contact Jing so she can make sure that no more than 3 are going to be attending these meetings.
Jean, I hate to say this, but it was good I looked at my calendar too. Is this the only meeting, the 28th for adaptive reuse? Or is
No.
the initial?
That's going to be an evening kickoff meeting, like a general community meeting. We haven't set the dates for the adaptive reuse working groups yet.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great. Because this baseball team plays that.
I can't
Okay,
do the adaptive reuse one.
you want to be on the adaptive?
I
reuse?
do, yes.
Okay,
It
so
took me a
there's,
few minutes to figure it out, but.
all right, there's 2 of us who are interested in adaptive reuse. And then maybe we'll bring it up with our other 2 colleagues, and maybe one of them will volunteer for the adaptive reuse as well.
good.
Okay. I think with that, we're going to move on. And now I'm going to move to item 15, which is adjournment. And it's now 6:24, and we're going to adjourn the meeting tonight. Thank you all for coming out. and for being pro-housing.
That's extraordinary. That's wonderful.